Well, the MLB postseason is finally here, so you know I have to give my predictions as to who I think's gonna win the World Series based on the teams in the playoffs. And you see I'm wearing a big L on my hat. Shout out to Tigres de Licey, but this is because I have to wear an L. My predictions were horrible this year. Some of the worst. Mets didn't even make the playoffs, so we're wearing the L today, but I promise these predictions are gonna be the best ones yet because I'm taking away all my bias. The Mets aren't even involved, so I can't pick them. And based on what we've seen this year, I do think that there is a clear and obvious path for a lot of these teams. Before we do get going into it, guys, can you please leave a like on the video? Really do appreciate it. It does help a ton, as well as subscribe to the channel. I know a lot of you watch on TV. Just hit the up arrow and then click subscribe. It really does help so you see all my content. YouTube hasn't been pushing it much recently. You also may notice we're in a new setup, just briefly moved. That's why the uploads have been a little sporadic, but we're feeling locked in. We're ready to go. I'm excited to make my prediction. But first, I want to give a quick shout to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. The baseball season's almost over. There's only a few games left. We got the postseason coming up. With these games being so important, you're going to want to be there in person for the vibes, for the energy. That's where SeatGeek comes in. It is the best place to buy tickets to your favorite team's sporting events. And when you use my code Giraffe10, you'll get 10% off your next purchase on SeatGeek, whether you're a first-time buyer or not. And hey, maybe you're not interested in baseball. The college football season's going, NFL's going, the NBA soon. There's also tickets to concerts and other events like comedy shows. SeatGeek's got you covered for whatever you need. And of course, my favorite feature is their SeatGeek score, where they rate tickets on a scale of 1 to 10 to let you know how good of a deal you're getting. If you see tickets with a score of 10 or a green dot, that means those are good deals. You should buy those right now. If you see tickets with a score closer to 1 or a red or orange dot, that means don't buy those. You can pass on those. So again, just in case you didn't catch it the first time, use my code Giraffe10 for 10% off your next purchase on SeatGeek, whether you're a first-time buyer or not. So click the link in the description, download the app, use Giraffe10 to save that money, and get yourself some tickets for postseason baseball or whatever you want to go watch. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. Okay, so starting it off with the American League wildcard, we have an absolute banger of a series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Red Sox have had the Yankees number this year, while the Yankees on paper are so much better than the Red Sox. Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham, Jazz Chisholm, Giancarlo Stanton's been amazing. The Yankees are no doubt the better team offensively, and then on the pitching side, I think they're better too, with Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, Cam Schlittler. The bullpen, while it's been shaky, still has great names. Dave Bednar's awesome. Fernando Cruz has nasty stuff. Camille Duvall has nasty stuff. This bullpen is way better than it should be, and I got a weird feeling that Devin Williams will not be the problem, because he just can't be. He can't be this bad for the entire season. And then you look at the Red Sox. No Roman Anthony, out because of an injury. Alex Bregman's been ice cold. Jarren Duran's been hot and cold. Like, this team is not necessarily playing bad coming into the postseason, but they have had hotter stretches. The pitching isn't as strong as the Yankees, even though I love Crochet and Bayo as the 1-2s. This is an awesome matchup. Things to note: the Red Sox absolutely own the Yankees this season. The Yankees have a losing record against them, and before that, like last series where the Yankees won, the Red Sox really dominated the Yankees. Alex Cora owns Aaron Boone. The Yankees didn't show up in the World Series. Aaron Judge has never been a postseason player, really, in terms of production. It has to end at some point. He's way too talented to perform as poorly as he has. But for some reason, I keep going back to this Boston Red Sox team, and just knowing that they own the Yankees, I think I got to put them through. I've got the Red Sox beating the Yankees in the wild card series in 3 games, despite being the inferior team. That's what makes the playoffs awesome. It's not about who's the best team on paper. It's not about who's the best team coming into the playoffs. It's about who can win the games that are right out in front of them. And I think with Garrett Crochet on the mound, as good as Max Fried has been, Crochet is incredible. One of the best pitchers in baseball, maybe like top 5 at worst. Brian Bayo owns the Yankees. He's the Yankees killer. That bullpen's scary, but if you get it to Aroldis Chapman late in the game, he's been absolutely money. And there's just some weird mental thing where I think the Red Sox have an advantage on the Yankees. It really does all matter about Aaron Judge. If Aaron Judge shows up to the series, the Yankees win easily. If he doesn't, I think this is the Red Sox. And until Aaron Judge shows up, I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox moving on to play the Toronto Blue Jays. For the second wildcard series, we have the AL Central rivals meeting up. The Detroit Tigers going up against the Cleveland Guardians. This matchup is so bizarre. The Guardians, pitching side, they're amazing, but they have the best hitter in the entire series. That's Jose Ramirez, who continues to have MVP caliber seasons. First ballot Hall of Famer when his career is over. Jose Ramirez is going to go down as one of the best third basemen to ever play the game. Similarly to the Boston Red Sox, the Guardians seem to own the Detroit Tigers on the mental side of things. The Guardians just came back and won the division somehow. The Tigers had a massive collapse. Thank goodness they made the postseason. The Guardians were 10 games out in September, and they won the AL Central. The Guardians got hot, and a big reason was they beat the Tigers a lot. Steven Kwan is good. He's going to get on base. He's going to hit for average. J-Ram's amazing. Manzardo's got power. Bo Naylor's been better with Austin Hedges as well, which is a crazy sentence to say. Gabriel Arias has popped. This team is weird offensively, but the pitching is great because Gavin Williams is a legit ace. Tanner Bybee is a great second option. You have Slade, you have Parker Messick, Logan Allen, Joey Cantillo. The bullpen is nails, even without Emmanuel Clase. Cade Smith, one of the best relievers in the league. Hunter Gaddis, awesome. Jacob Junis, weird. Tim Herron, Eric Sobrowski. Like, they have really good pitching. And Steven Vogt's a great manager. On the flip side, with the Tigers, way better offense, but they have the best pitcher in the entire series being Tarek Skubal. And I do think this series is won on game one. If the Tigers win game one of the series, I think they take it. If the Guardians win it and beat Tarek Skubal, the Tigers are screwed. And that's the scary part, because for game two, you don't really know who you're going with the Tigers. Casey Mize, Jack Flaherty, neither of those guys you feel confident with. And if there needs to be a game three, who's available to pitch? You're going to go Cater Montero, Chris Paddock. It's terrifying right now if you're a Tigers fan. But the offense is better. The offense is definitely better than the Guardians. Just going through it, Parker Meadows, Gleyber Torres, Kerry Carpenters, Torkelson, Riley Green, Wenzel Perez, Dylan Dingler, McKinstry, Javi Baez on the bench, Jahmai Jones, mashing lefties, Andy Ibanez. They're not a bad team. These two teams aren't, I think, World Series contenders in my opinion, but this is going to be a really good series. It's actually going to be a weirdly fun series because it's two chaos teams going at it, division rivals. Tigers bullpen's been sketchy, but Kyle Finnegan's back, which is big, even though he just blew a game like on Friday, but he's still very good. To me, I just have to go with the Tigers. I think they're the better team. I don't think they've been playing better, but AJ Hinch last year in the playoffs was fantastic for the Tigers. They have Tarek Skubal, and I think, again, the team that wins game one wins the series, and I just see the Tigers having the advantage there with Skubal on the mound, so I'm giving them the series. Guardians fans are going to be pissed. They hate me, Guardians fans. I'm sorry. Just, do anything. Win a World Series this year. Make some noise. Make me eat my words. Now, for the National League wildcard series, we've got the San Diego Padres going up against the Chicago Cubs, and this is by far, I think, the best series in all of the postseason thus far. Like, Yankees-Red Sox is great because of the rivalry. But Padres-Cubs is going to be fun, must-watch baseball. That's the one I've got circled. I want to stop my night and watch these games. For the Padres, they've dealt with some injuries. Losing Ramon Laureano is terrifying. That's not great. You're going to have to play Gavin Sheets or somebody else in the outfield, and that hurts with the Chicago Cubs, who have a lot of left-handed starting pitching, including Matt Boyd in Game 1. But you look at this Padres lineup, and it's pretty disgusting. Fernando Tatis, Luis Arias, Manny Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, those guys are all really good. You do have a lot of lefties, which, again, kind of an advantage to the Cubs with the left-handed arms that they have in the rotation, but the bullpen. The bullpen's a separator. If there's a lead in this game going into the 5th or 6th inning, especially also the starting pitching is a separator too, but if there's a lead going into the 5th or 6th inning, the Padres just don't lose. Between Mason Miller, Morejon, Robert Suarez, Jeremiah Estrada, even Magic Wandy, those are 5 legitimately good arms that are probably better than almost any arm that the Cubs have in their bullpen. Now for the Cubs, I love their lineup. Their lineup top to bottom is very, very deep. You've got Michael Busch, Nico Horner's an absolute pest, and Michael Busch is going to be going up against a lot of righties because Cease and Pivetta are going Game 1 and 2. Ian Happ's really good against right-handed pitching. Kyle Tucker's back from injury. Seiya Suzuki, one of the most underrated hitters in baseball. Moises Ballesteros has been in this lineup, and I just kind of love him as a player. He hits ball hard. That's all you really want. PCA can be an agent of chaos. He doesn't need to do a lot of the heavy lifting in this series. Play good defense, run the bases. He brings value. And then Dansby and Matt Shaw, good 8-9 hitters. I really like the Cubs lineup. The problem is that their pitching scares the hell out of me. Matt Boyd, Shota, Tyone, Colin Ray, Javier Asada on the starting side, and then the bullpen, while Palencia has been incredible. Awesome. Really good arm. I don't know how confident I feel about the other options. Like Kittredge is good, but again, I don't know how confident I feel. There's just not a lot of strikeout stuff on this bullpen. So for me, that scares me. But that being said, I think one of the biggest factors in this series is the fact that the Padres are going to have to go with a lot of right-handed pitching, and the Cubs can go with a lot of left-handed pitching. And it definitely doesn't help the Padres to see as many lefties as they're going to, because now without Ramon Laureano in this lineup, Ryan O'Hearn and Gavin Sheets are going to have to play most likely, along with Drake Cronenworth and Jackson Merrill. They got a lot of lefties. I think it's going to go 3 games, but I'm giving it to the Chicago Cubs. If the wind is blowing out, major advantage to the Cubs. Home field is huge, but I do have the Cubs moving on here in 3 games. I want Padres, low-key. I love the Padres. I hate them because I'm a Mets fan, but I love them. I'm always hoping that they do well if the Mets are not involved. But I do think the Cubs are going to move through, which is a shame because I think the Padres have the best chance to beat the Brewers over the Cubs. But we'll talk about that in a sec. Now, as for the final wild card matchup, we've got the Cincinnati Reds versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. Of course, the Reds stuck into the playoffs because the Mets are an absolute joke of a franchise and can't make it, despite most teams in the National League that they were competing with actively not trying to win baseball games. But nonetheless, we don't need to talk about them anymore. Their season's over. They're going to go to Cancun. They're enjoying their refreshments. The Dodgers and Reds. This is the big one. And on paper, it should be Dodgers all the way. And truthfully, I feel like it is. The Reds have had a nice season. They've played 500 baseball. That's basically how they got into the postseason. The last 80 games, they're 40-40. The starting pitching's really good. The problem is the Dodgers starting pitching is also really good. The Reds now have the advantage on the bullpen side, which is kind of crazy to say with the arms that they have out there, but Tony Santillan, Emilio Pagan, Brent Suter, Graham Ashcraft, Chase Burns might be able to be used out of the bullpen. Nick Martinez has been a weapon. Zach Maxwell. I love their bullpen. It's good. I just don't know if their lineup is going to be able to match up to the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's a lot of guys that fluctuate in this 90 to 110 OPS plus range. If they all hit well, scary team. They can run the bases. They can cause some chaos. But if they're below, they're not going to score any runs. And I just think with the Dodgers, how their lineup is, how good their pitching is, their bullpen is atrocious. Horrible. I can't believe how bad the Dodgers bullpen has been. It's shocking how bad. I just don't know how the Reds beat Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, and then also Glasnow and Sheehan could be used in relief if you need them to. The lineup is crazy with, again, Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar. Tommy Edman is a playoff god. Like, I don't think the Dodgers are unbeatable. I'm rooting for the Reds. We want the Reds to win. Let's go Cincinnati. But I just have to give this one to the Dodgers in 2 games right now. Moving on to the ALDS. Let's talk about the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. We haven't mentioned Toronto just yet, so that's what we'll focus on. You already heard what I have to say about the Red Sox. Blue Jays fans, I'm sorry. I doubted the hell out of you guys. I was so negative on the Blue Jays this year. I'd been positive on the years past. Honestly, I got pissed. I got tired of you guys making me look bad. And shame on me, because the Blue Jays are a really good baseball team. I'll put my hand up and admit it. I didn't think they were going to be 94-68. I didn't think they'd have the 1 seed in the postseason, but this team has showed up. They've got a bunch of dogs, and I respect the hell out of the Blue Jays for how well they've played this season. Alejandro Kirk, beast. Awesome. One of the better catchers in baseball. Vlad Jr., still just a really, really good hitter. 848 OPS. Bo Bichette had a great year. If he's somehow able to get back, that would be huge for this team. And then you look at some of the lesser guys. George Springer, major. What a year George Springer had. Who saw that coming? Dalton Varsho, way better than Jose Siri. He's awesome. He's hitting for power. He's playing good defense. That's all you could have really asked for. And then all the other guys that fill in are good enough, play good defense. If Anthony Santander ever hits, oh my God, this team's scary. What makes me a little nervous is the starting pitching, but also at the same time, Trey Savage is awesome. He's so good. Kevin Gausman has the ability to be locked down. Shane Bieber looked better. Max Scherzer is like maybe the 3rd or 4th option. Isn't scary. I mean, PTSD as a Mets fan, but I don't know, not the worst. And the bullpen's pretty good. I know Jeff Hoffman hasn't been the greatest, but he's still got good stuff. Sir Anthony's great. Brendan Little's been awesome. I think they have a pretty decent bullpen of at least weapons out there. So while I do love the Red Sox, I do think this is the end of the road for them. I think the Blue Jays move on to the ALCS. This team just feels better than Boston, and unless for some miracle Roman Anthony is back playing in the ALDS, I just don't think they've got it. I think this one will go 4 games. The Blue Jays move on to the ALCS. And then for the second ALDS, we have the Tigers versus the Mariners. I am obsessed with the Mariners. Shout out to my editor of this video, TJ, big Mariners fan. You guys should go check out their podcast, Marine Layer, if you're a Mariners fan. Link is in the description. Mariners are my team. I'm loving them. I am rooting for the Mariners harder than anybody right now in Major League Baseball, and I'm sorry, Mariners fans, for that in advance, because we know I just tend to pick losers, but I love what the Mariners did. This lineup's awesome. Randy, Cal Raleigh, AL MVP? Maybe. Julio, Josh Naylor, Polanco, Suarez, Dom Canzone. JP Crawford hitting 9th is fantastic. Gets on base. It's all you need. Pitching. There's no better starting rotation in the playoffs. Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Luis Castillo. Dynamite. Bullpen. Really good. Munoz, Matt Brash is disgusting. Gabe Speyer's been really good this year. I love this Mariners team, and as much as I like the Tigers, I think it's a great story this year. I don't think they're better than the Mariners. The Mariners are moving on to the ALCS to go up against the Toronto Blue Jays. This Mariners team is scary good. Like, I would want to avoid them like the plague. I think this could be their year. But we'll talk about their matchup with the Blue Jays in a second, because it's not as black and white as you would think. Now for the National League, we've got the NLDS. We talked about the Cubs, moving on past the Padres. They're going up against the Brewers. Brewers have been the best team in baseball this season. They've got the most wins. I don't think anyone thought that they would have the most wins in the league, but people knew that this Brewers team was good. Christian Yelich playing DH, hitting well. Jackson Chourio back healthy. He's a good ball player. Impact. Bryce Terang, what a difference. Swings the bat harder, what do you know, becomes a way better player, hitting in the middle of this order. William Contreras battled a hand injury, looking pretty good recently. Sal Frelick, Andrew Vaughn off the scrap heap is a Andrew Vaughn, Jake Bowers, Caleb Durbin, Joey Ortiz, just playing shortstop defense. That's all they need. They have a good bench too with Isaac Collins, Blake Perkins, Monasterio, Danny Jansen, Rhys Hoskins. And then pitching wise, it's where it gets a little bit shakier on the starting side. Freddie Peralta, Mizorowski, 2 legit frontline guys. You can mix in Priester, Chad Patrick, Robert Gasser, and the bullpen is money. Of course, Trevor McGill back from injury is so big, so big. Abner Uribe, incredible. Love Abner. This bullpen's so weird. Nick Mears is awesome. Jaron Koenig is awesome. This is just a really fun, quirky little team. And as good as I think the Cubs are, I think this is a bad matchup for them. If you're a Cubs fan, I don't like postseason Brewers going up against the Cubs because they're going to play matchups. They're going to get quirky. They're going to play weird. This is a team that puts the ball in play, and that's kind of a dangerous thing. While we love home runs, putting the ball in play, not striking out is the name of the game in the postseason. postseason at times, and the Brewers do that. I've got the Brewers moving on to the NLCS. I do think that this is the year that they make it past the first round that they're playing in. This is a really good team. They've showed us for a full 162. They're the best team in baseball, and I think it would be criminal to not put them in the NLCS right now. And then we've got the Dodgers and Phillies, which low-key feels like the World Series. We're going to see it in the NLDS. Phillies are really good. They challenged the Brewers for the best record in baseball. They made a lot of acquisitions at the trade deadline, and they all paid off. Harrison Bader, awesome, completely changed the outlook of this team. They now have a bat and a glove in center field, where that was a position where they got no value. Trey Turner, back from injury, huge. He's having a great year, playing great defense at short. Kyle Schwarber, one of the best home run hitters in the league. Big game player. Bryce Harper. Alec Boehm's low-key been better than I expected. Still don't love him, but he's been better. And now that they're not forced to play Nick Castellanos every single day, they can play matchups, and it's working. Max Kepler gets in there. Edmundo Sosa gets in there. Max Kepler's able to get some ABs. Edmundo Sosa platoons with Bryson Stott or Alec Boehm at times. Phillies have built a really good offensive team. We knew that. And then on the pitching side, while there's no Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Ranger Suarez is great. Aaron Nola had an amazing final start to the season. And Jesus Luzardo has the ability to shut down your team at any moment. 3 left-handers in this rotation going up against the Dodgers feels pretty good. And then bullpen-wise, while it was sketchy at the start of the year, they grabbed Joan Duran, who's one of the best closers in the entire league. He's been nails. Matt Strom's very good. David Robertson, I think, will be good in the postseason. And that's kind of all you need when you get to the bullpen. You need like 3 good arms. I trust those big 3 with all the other options as well, and starting pitchers that could be used in relief like Walker Buehler. Is this enough to beat the Dodgers? I do. I think the Dodgers bullpen's so bad that they're going to blow some games. The Phillies, this is their season. They have to win it. They have to win this season. The window is getting closer to being closed every year as these guys get older and older. Kyle Schwarber's a free agent at the end of the year. He's going to come back, but it's just the window's getting tighter, and Dave Dombrowski seems to push the chips all in. This seems like the season. I got the Phillies moving on to the NLCS to face the Brewers. Now, for the ALCS matchup, the Blue Jays versus the Mariners. Let's just talk about the games that they played this season, because it's interesting to take a look at. This season, Blue Jays kind of own the Mariners, 4-2 in the 6 games that they've played, and I think statistically, the Blue Jays kind of own the Mariners. When I look on paper, I think these offenses are both very good. I think the Mariners' offense is criminally underrated. I'm interested to see what it would be like, too, because this is going to be one of the bigger travel series with going from Toronto to Seattle, from Toronto to Seattle. It's a lot of moving. I think the Mariners have the clear pitching advantage, both in the starting rotation and bullpen, but the Blue Jays have just kind of been dogs this year. And as much as I want the Mariners to win the World Series, I truly want them to win it, the Blue Jays have just shown me all year that this team is full of dogs. They hit, they step up. The manager's been making all the right moves. John Schneider's been great. The bullpen, while they don't have any of the sexiest names, has been good, and the starting rotation does it enough to get it done. Plus, Toronto atmosphere in the playoffs, it is impossible to play in. Remember the Jose Bautista home run? That place is electric. I've got the Blue Jays moving on to the World Series, something I didn't think I would say in the year 2025, but they've proved me wrong, and I just have no reason to doubt how good this team has been. They're going to the World Series right now, for me, in the American League. And then in the NLCS, we've got the Brewers going up against the Philadelphia Phillies. This one, the Brewers had a great season, but I think the Phillies win this one. I think the Phillies are just better, and as the postseason gets longer and longer, I rely on the depth of these teams. While the Brewers might have more quality players on the offensive side and a deeper bullpen, I get worried about that starting rotation. Just doesn't have the top-end stuff as much as the Phillies. Like Mizorowski and Peralta, incredible. Awesome. After that, there's a drop-off. Whether you guys want to believe me or not, that's fine. You can yell at me in the comment section, but I think the Phillies got the better pitchers, and they've got the bigger name players, and I just think the Phillies are moving on. This is their season right now, pushing all the chips in. Like I said, Dave Dombrowski and the Phillies moving to the World Series, which gives us a World Series matchup of the Blue Jays versus the Phillies. This is my nightmare for social media because both fan bases hate my guts, and rightfully so. I talk a lot of trash. I get it. Bring it on. That's fine. I can handle it. That's why I do this. I love this. This is baseball. And this will be a great World Series. You're looking at 2 teams that are just going to kind of look to punch you in the mouth. Blue Jays offensively, Phillies with that starting rotation. It will be a great matchup. You go through these teams. Where do I think they have the advantages? I think the Blue Jays got the better catcher. I think they got the better first baseman. Second base is a bit of a toss-up. Shortstop, I think the Phillies have it when it's Trey Turner. Bo Bichette's been that good, though. Third base, Addison Barger feels pretty competent. Like, these 2 teams feel neck and neck. The Phillies just have more of like the sexier names, if that makes sense. Oh, what am I going to do here? Oh, who am I picking? Can I pick the Phillies? Can I pick the Blue Jays? All right, time to make a decision. My 2025 World Series champion is, drumroll please, I think it's the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are winning the 2025 World Series. It's just this team feels like they've got the juice right now. Every time there's a big moment, this team steps up. Alejandro Kirk, big home runs. They won the American League East from the Yankees and the Red Sox. They've proved basically everybody wrong in baseball. Nobody thought the Blue Jays were going to be this good. And if you're a Blue Jays fan, you did. Props to you. People doubted this team. They showed up. They've got a deep lineup. Everybody hits except Andres Gimenez. They play good defense, which is so important in the postseason. And while the pitching isn't great, it's good enough. I think the Blue Jays are the 2025 World Series champions. It's heading back to Toronto. This is going to be the year I'm right? Like, of course, the year where I picked the Blue Jays and the Phillies, two fan bases that hate my guts. I'm going to be correct. Blue Jays fans, I hope I'm correct. Fan base deserves it. You guys are feral. So there they are, my predictions for the playoffs. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know what you're thinking. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the content. Follow me on all my social media. GiraffeNeckMarc, links are in description. That's where I'll wrap it up. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. If you want to see my predictions from before the season starts and laugh at me, click this video. That's where it'll be. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out. Bye.